Hello. Thank you very much for joining me today. How are you doing? 10 things an Irish person noticed not to do in America. I like that title. I like the word noticed. That implies she did it. She's like, oh shit. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have reached anywhere, suspicious while I'm being pulled over by a cop in America. Now I'm dead. Go check out her channel, Diane Jennings, link down below. I like these types of videos. Things not to do in America. You would think, I'm an American, so I should know what not to do. But it's interesting hearing other people's perspectives like, oh, you can't do that. And I'm like, can you not? Or I wouldn't have ever thought to do that. That type of thing. It's fun. Anyway, go check out her channel. Link down below. Let's go.
Number 10, it's something that you've probably heard a lot, but maybe you've never heard it at all, because my mom said it was the first time she heard it, and then I had to question, do you even watch this channel, Denise? Hi, Mommy, love you. It's factoring in surprise paying for things, including tipping and taxes, and I'm also going to throw parking in there. Parking is actually really expensive in America. But yes, when you go to pay for something in America...
Parking is a total freaking scam. Over here in America. I don't know about anywhere else, but it is a total freaking scam, especially for like tourists, even tourists, not just out of the country, but if you're going somewhere in America like me, if I'm going somewhere in America where I don't know where to park, where the free parking is, like to the beach even, you pull into like a lot and it's like all of a sudden $40 to park for 3 hours. Holy.
The VAT, which we have in Europe, is not included in the sales price, and they call it sales tax. So you might go to buy a top that's $10, and when you go to pay for it, it's actually $10.60. It depends on the state, but the sales tax is different everywhere. And this is so normal in America that it can be unusual for Americans to see us struggle with the concept.
Okay, how are you not getting this?
It also applies to cars, too. That's a doozy right there. And you've got to pay that, like, separately sometimes. Like you go to the BMV, the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, and pay the sales tax on the car you just bought. It'll be like $500,
But things are more expensive than you think they're going to be, so just be aware of that. Also, tipping, as most of you guys know, tipping is something I've struggled with for sure, and you have to tip in America.
No, you do not have to tip. You'll just be shunned. If you're from out of the country, I say don't tip. Who cares? Unless you plan on coming back and eating at that same exact restaurant. No, I'm just kidding. You should tip. Unless the service is bad. Then don't tip. At least that's what I say.
If you're getting like food off somebody...
Sir, tipping is customary.
Not in fast food places. This is where the... comes in. But yes, you have to tip a waiter or waitress, or you have to tip somebody who does your nails. Basically somebody who performs a service for you, because as I understand it, they're not paid very much at all and rely on your tips.
It is kind of a weird thing, and the thing is the line is kind of blurred. Like, what's a service? What exactly is a service? Is someone who, if I go to Walmart and they've got to scan all my items and bag them up, is that not a service? I'm paying for the goods, not for the service, but you're kind of paying for the service. Don't tip the Walmart people unless you want to. Actually, that would be interesting. What if you just tipped everyone that normally is not tipped? I think they would appreciate it a lot more. Tip the Walmart people.
Very unusual system for a European to understand, but it is what it is. So if you're visiting there, just get on the good ship, tip.
Oh, I like that very much.
The next thing...
Just convince yourself you're rich and have no care about money. Just start throwing it around. You'll have a great time.
You need to not forget to do is bring your ID everywhere. And this is the case even if you're 50 years of age, because I've seen old people get asked for their IDs. So
for alcohol, yeah.
Basically, what you guys have explained to me is that the people who sell you alcohol are liable to be prosecuted if you're under the age of 21, which, by the way, is way too old. It should be 18. Just my thoughts.
Well, no.
I like how, because she's Irish, it's just like, it goes without saying, of course you're going to be drinking alcohol anywhere you go. You need to buy a beer.
But he asked you, Ellen.
So everywhere asks you for ID, even if you...
I'm just kidding, by the way.
look over the age of 21 because they're all just, they don't want to get put in jail and stuff. Or actually, it's probably have to pay a fine. That's probably worse. A couple of days in the slammer, you can handle it, am I right? Don't ask me to pay $100 unnecessarily. I don't actually know it's $100, but I gotta imagine it's steep. So you have to bring your passport or your driving license or whatever around with you, which is a little bit of safety concern, but you just have to do that over there. The next one is a little bit, I didn't think I'd ever talk about this on a public forum, but it's just something you need to know, and maybe it applies more to the lady
I'm excited.
viewers than the male viewers.
Brace yourself!
In America, their loos have really
Loos. Yes, okay, the loo.
high water. Like the water comes
What?
up really high in the loo. Also, in a lot of public restrooms, they're not, well, they're less than.
I'm trying to think. Wouldn't that affect men more than women? What do women have to worry about dangling into the water?
They're not so much sterile a lot of times. In America, you're going to need.
That's why they're free.
They're not so much in a lot of public restrooms. They're not. Well, they're less than. They're not
I'm still trying to figure out why did she say it applies to women more?
so much sterile a lot of times. In America, you're going to need to learn to hover above the loo seat.
Yeah, apparently women do that. That's kind of a, I don't think about that very often. But apparently women hover over the toilet seat. I mean, if men only typically sit to poop, if you didn't know. And upon doing that, normally you just, use some toilet paper. Make a little cushion.
Rather than make contact with it with your arse. And there's a couple of reasons for this, because it could be gross to sit on, and also because a lot of times the lavatories in America automatically flush, so you're sitting on it, and unbeknownst to you, you get a little bidet. Oh my! And that water splashes right up because it's only like a couple of inches from the surface.
A couple inches. There's actually a wide spectrum of how high the water is in a toilet. But I guess I have seen photos of European toilets, and it does seem like the water's just almost not even there. It's like way at the bottom, so that makes sense.
So don't sit on the seat. Moving along, I suggest you don't tease anybody you don't know very well. American people are some of the nicest people in the world. They are so friendly and really, really welcoming.
I guess they banter more in Ireland.
And when you get to know American people, you'll find that they're just some of the nicest people in the whole entire world.
You already said that.
Thank you.
However, there is a lot more people in America, and therefore a lot more people who get very quickly and easily offended by things. So
That was kind of hilarious logic. There's a lot more people in America, so there's a lot more people who get offended. Okay. I guess that makes sense, but I doubt you have a microphone and you're talking to the entire country. Okay. I could see people, I feel like people banter more like in Ireland and the UK, especially in a pub, whereas over here in America, not so much. And so if you insult someone, it might be taken more serious.
So the Irish culture of slagging people off, aka teasing them to kind of establish your boundaries with them, is not so much a go-to when it comes to American people. You can definitely slag off your friends who are American or the people you've gotten to know better, but there's also a possibility in America that people will be offended by things if they are that way inclined. Some people in America are very sensitive. Some people everywhere are. America's just bigger, so there's more of them.
There are some real pansies over here in America, let's be honest.
Strange creatures.
I found when I get
It's true. There are some.
to know an American, it's fine to say something sarcastic and they know I'm joking because they know what I'm like. But if it's somebody I don't know, they won't necessarily pick up on the fact that I'm joking right away. And I think that's to do with accent and demeanor and just all these tiny micro things that go on when you're talking to somebody new. So yeah, when you first...
Well, over here in America, there's kind of a weird dynamic, especially among girls, I feel like, where, in middle school, if you've seen the movie Mean Girls, they'll, banter at someone, but they're actually bullying them in, a subtle way. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of the way it might be taken over here in America. Oh, you're making fun of me, but it's a joke, but do you mean it? Are you being mean?
First meet somebody, maybe don't use too much dry humor or slag off their hairstyle or whatever. Just wait to get to know them. It's probably fine, but there's also a tiny chance that you're going to get your head kicked in. So don't do that.
And we don't want that to happen, do we?
The next thing, building on my point with the last one, is do not be shy. American people are super friendly and they're inclined to talk to you when you're in a queue or when you're just out and about. And this is one of my favorite things about American people. They'll just start talking to you out of nowhere. Don't be surprised if they want to know what you're up to, how your trip is going, stuff like that. That's just how the American people...
Oh yeah, especially if you've got an accent. If you open up your mouth and people hear that, the people will flock to you to talk to you about anything, nothing.
People converse. Also, don't take it too personally. They don't necessarily want to be your best friend. They're just being pleasant, just having a nice day and hoping that you have a nice day too.
Have a nice day.
The next one seems obvious when you've been to America, but when I hadn't been to America, I definitely didn't know this so much. Don't assume everything is close enough to get around in a quick space of time. Don't underestimate.
I've heard this one so many times. It applies to both the macro scale, like going from state to state. It turns out California to New York is like not a day trip at all. That's like a multi-day drive just to get there. But also within most communities, it's not easy to walk place to place.
Estimate how massive America is. You cannot just get around fast. If you go to one state, you mightn't even get to see the whole state. Pretty much everywhere I've gone so far on trips
I mean, a lot of American states are like the size of like Germany, you know what I mean? Like they're big.
to America is places I'm gonna have to go back to because I did not get to see the whole of the places. Most states are like little countries and driving from one end to another is a lot. Like they're actually bigger than my whole country. You could drive from one side of Ireland to the other side of Ireland in a day. No hassle. But not so in American states. The next thing is don't expect most American people.
Okay, actually, I'm thinking about what she said about Ireland and I simply have to look it up. What I'm thinking myself right now is you could probably drive across Ireland in way less than a day, but I might be wrong. Let me look. All right, let's do some investigation here. Let's go from Dublin to, let's go from Dublin to Belmullet. I don't think I pronounced that right. Oh yeah. 3 hours, hold on. Why does it keep doing that? I keep trying to record and it's like clicks away. There it is. 3 hours and 42 minutes to drive across. Now, of course, if you were going north to south, it might be about double, so 6-7 hours. But that's way less than a day. Way less. And I know she was just saying you could do it within a day, but that got me thinking, I don't know. It's not like it takes 24 hours to drive across Ireland. It takes 4 hours.
To know anything about your country.
It takes 24 hours to get from, Chicago to Miami. Like, actually, probably about that long. Maybe 20 hours, I don't know.
Now, regular viewers of this channel are going to be pretty educated about a lot of stuff about Ireland.
You're the best.
But the layman won't necessarily know diddly anything about Ireland. A lot of people assume it's in Britain. Some people think we're at war. Some people think we don't most...
Oh, like North and South Ireland? I guess you don't call it South Ireland, but they think you're at war? Huh. I could see some stupid people thinking it's in Britain, like Great Britain.
talk English here.
Apparently you don't.
And some people have never even heard of Ireland. That's a legitimate thing. They definitely don't know about the intricacies of the history or the politics or anything like that, so just
How
don't
would you not know about Ireland? Never heard of a freaking leprechaun?
get mad at people for not knowing stuff. Because of pop culture, TV, films and stuff like that, we're all pretty up on our awareness of what's going on in America and current affairs.
The apocalypse.
Sadly. To my great embarrassment, y'all are, especially after that debate. I wish you guys weren't so aware of what was going on over here.
What has gone on historically, but Americans, because America is so big, spend a lot of time preoccupied by America, and the majority of Americans never even leave their...
And there's also a lot of stupid crap happening over here, you know, that preoccupies a lot of people's time.
Country because they don't really need to because they have everything there. You should still travel. I mean, it's good fun to travel, so you know, get your passport. But my point is, don't get upset if somebody said something incorrect to you. Take that opportunity to gently educate them, maybe, or just nod and smile if you're not arsed. This leads on to my next point. Just because you speak English, don't necessarily use terms that you'd use in your own country. Alter your language. So for example, in Ireland and probably throughout most of Europe, we're really familiar with colloquialisms that American people have. What up, dog? Get down with your bad self. Bless your heart. But most Americans, and again, I'm not referring to the extremely educated section who watch this channel on a regular basis, have no idea about European or Irish slang terms.
What do you mean? That's bloody, I'll have another, no, a tea and crumpet. That's bloody, that's bloody massive. I'll lay your ass out, mate.
They won't know what up the duff means. Never heard of a yoki mabob. Are very confused when you say, oh, that's gas.
Ew.
Gas? Wait, do you guys say that? Because over here in America, kids are starting to say that. Did you guys invent that? That's gas? That means like that's cool, I think. Or it tastes good. If you're eating food, that's gas. You guys made that up?
And that's because they just haven't been exposed to it. It's not.
But I say use all your colloquialisms. Use them all over here. I think that would be very entertaining.
Usually on their TV unless they're watching something specifically about Ireland
People won't have any idea what you're saying, but...
or Irish. Our terms are not in the regular American's vernacular, so do change a couple of things that you're going to say. For example, if I'm asking for a sandwich without tomatoes, I know that you guys say tomatoes, so I'll just say tomato. It just speeds
Oh man, no, you gotta say tomatoes. That's cool.
up things. And finally, the number one thing not to do in America is don't invade people's personal bubble. This one makes me feel like I might be a little bit American in sentiment. So not so much in Ireland, maybe to a degree, but more so in other parts of Europe. People are predisposed to going into each other's spaces. They do.
I find that so weird. I've heard this a couple times. I'm surprised by it. Because, like she said, Americans are pretty openly social, you know what I mean? Which seems kind of conducive to like, oh, you know, we're comfortable getting close to each other. We're comfortable talking to each other. But that's not how it is. Yeah, you don't get in someone's personal bubble. You learn that from like kindergarten over here in America, you know, like that's their personal space. Don't get too close to them. If you can like feel someone's aura, their body heat emanating from them, they're too close.
Kissy cheeks. They'll brush past you in the shops. They'll come right up. There's a lot of face touching. People can be tactile. But not so in America, where the PTA is kind of frowned upon.
Get a room.
Americans and me have a little bubble of space around themselves, which they're like, don't come into this unless I know you. This is my zone of comfort. Perhaps it has something to do with the gigantism of the country again. People are not so familiar with other people and they don't like them to come into their zone of personal space. Don't
That's an interesting thing, is it? Why is it that way? It's almost taken as just like, I wouldn't go as far to say a threat, but like rude. Definitely like rude, like, oh, you're trying to like, you don't respect me. You're coming right up, acting like I'm not here, basically, you know. That's kind of how it's taken, I guess. But why is that? Kind of weird.
touch people you don't know in America because they might shoot you. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
She's not joking.
I think this might be a factor in like when those Black Friday crazy sales went on. You guys are so not used to touching each other and bustling and stuff that it just set off everybody's trigger.
That's probably true. That's a good it's a good theory. That's why everybody freaked out during Black Fridays. everybody was touching each other.
That's just a theory. But that's it for today's list. Do let me know below in comments anything you think I missed. I can actually think of loads just sitting here now. Let's start over. No, we'll do another list. No, we'll do
That would be an interesting time to visit America during Black Friday.
another list someday. Is there anything you were surprised about when you visited Europe? Talk to you later. Bye.
I wish I visited Europe. That was a great video. Go check out her channel. I really enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. Those are always fun. I'll see you guys tomorrow.